Alright, we're going to talk a bit about situation in Group C. Welcome to my World Cup series. Group C, two games have been played, and we're looking ahead to the final games. Of course, England is playing Slovenia, and USA is playing Algeria. Now, beforehand, this group was considered, especially in England, as a great group, a great draw. They even used the term the best English group since the Beatles to describe the weakness of the draw. I mean, Algeria, you know, people didn't really expect much of, probably the weakest African team. Slovenia, one of the weakest European teams, and then USA, well, they're not a bad team, but they're not world class either. So everybody's like, okay, this will be good. Now, I predicted the USA could cause England problems, and they did with some help of the goalkeeper, and it was 1-1. But yeah, of course, we did expect England to start playing slightly better in the second game to at least beat Algeria, and of course they didn't. It was 0-0, and so England has played. Well, they didn't play that badly in the first game. I mean, they drew 1-1 against USA, but they had more chances than the USA, and they had slightly more possession of the ball. So, okay, they had a draw, but USA is not a bad team, so it was no real disaster. But then against Algeria, it was terrible. They could not create even any chances. They couldn't do anything. And Algeria, was comfortable the entire game. Happy to get a draw. And then, that means England now are going to have to beat Slovenia. It's as simple as that. They're going to have to beat them to get through. And the question is, can they do it? Slovenia, of course, they didn't play very well against Algeria in the first game, but they were lucky to win. Very lucky. Created pretty much no chances, but managed a 1-0 win anyway. Second game started quite well in the first half, went 2-0 up, but the USA came back, became 2-2, and of course the USA scored a legitimate goal, 3-2. They should have won it, but the goal was disallowed. Apparently some USA player had fouled. But of course it was ridiculous. I mean, they should have won, they could have won. I expected USA to beat Algeria. I knew it was possible for that to be a draw. But nevertheless, you would have expected USA, even if they would draw against Slovenia, to beat Algeria and go through. Now, of course, it seems that two teams, both England and Slovenia, have had a lot of trouble beating Algeria. So can we just assume that USA is going to easily beat Algeria, even though they've given away very few chances? So yeah, it's going to be difficult. I mean, USA should be able to win, but another draw is not completely out of the question, I would say. They've done it. They've almost done it against Slovenia, and they did it against England. So who knows? And then at the same time, if England plays as badly as they did against Algeria, they may not be able to beat Slovenia, in which case England could be out. But nevertheless, I would expect England to get at least their stuff together to some degree and beat Slovenia to get to the second round. And I would also expect USA to beat Algeria. I think USA has been, playing as good as we would have expected them. They were slightly the underdog against England, but they managed to draw. That was fine for them. And against Slovenia, second half, they played well. They came back into the game. It's just unfortunate in the first half, Slovenia played well, but not only played well, of course, they scored goals at decisive moments, The USA had some chances too. First half, Donovan had a chance to score the equalizer, and then that didn't go in, and, right after that, Slovenia scores the 2-0. But even then, they could have won, so I would expect USA to win their game. And USA, of course, not only can they get through, and maybe they can get through with England, they have a unique opportunity to win the group. Because if we should favor them, of course, in a draw, because if they win with more goals difference against Algeria than England do against Slovenia, they can win the group. Now, in fact, I don't expect England to be scoring many goals at all, because they haven't been playing the football that is required to score many goals. In fact, because USA scored 2 goals already in the game against Slovenia, even if they both win 1-0, and the USA has a better goal difference, the USA still wins the group. And this could be important, because if Germany manages to win Group D, which I expect, you would want to avoid Germany, because playing Germany or playing, average teams like Ghana or Serbia, obviously, or Australia even, they still have a shot. You would much rather play those teams than Germany. So that's interesting, and of course it's quite likely we may be looking at an England-Germany second round game. And possibly even, it's not impossible at all that Slovenia can come up with another stunt, maybe keep it at 0-0, maybe 1-1, and get through with England going out. It would be quite a sensation. So, we'll have to wait and see. But England, they're not looking good. Gerrard, Lampard, they're not playing up to their level. Rooney doesn't seem happy at all. Business with Terry. Terry wanted to talk, and the rest of the group didn't want to talk, and now he's apologized, and Capello doesn't think he's done anything wrong, and it just seems like it's not as bad as France, but it seems like in England, the atmosphere, the team spirit, the relationship between the players and the coach seems off. It seems like there's a problem there. Now, I don't know how that's going to develop, but it's not quite unlikely at all that England continues this development that we've seen in the first 2 games and plays a third poor game. That's not unlikely at all, and then they could go out. But so Slovenia has a legitimate shot. I don't really think Algeria has a shot, because I think USA will beat them. USA, they probably expected to be able to have to play for a result in the third game to get through, and they're okay if they come through as the number 2 team, because that's probably what they expected. So they're quite happy with where they are. I think they know they have to beat Algeria to get through. Now, if you want to be able to say, okay, we deserve a spot in the second round, last 16, you should be able to beat a team like Algeria. So there's the opportunity for them tomorrow to show that they can do that and to just make it happen. So I don't think USA should be too worried. But England, they look like a team that might go out early. It could be a huge stunt if Slovenia can get a draw against England, or even a win, and Slovenia goes to the second round with England going out. But it should be an interesting game. We'll have to wait and see. That's going on tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for me talking about Group C, I think.